creating custom Pokemon for you! Welcome back, everyone, to the show where we select lucky commenters to spin a series of random wheels that give us factors for a Pokemon that we then create just for you. It's gonna be an awesome episode today, y'all. We're gonna make 3 amazing custom Pokemon as always, so if you end up liking today's video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And of course, if you want a custom Pokemon for yourself, don't forget to leave a comment because I'll be randomly selecting people from this video's comments for the next episode. But without further ado, let's get into the first Pokemon! And this one will be for the nonchalant Croissant, who had the absolutely insane idea of adding a chance to get 3 evolutions on the evolution wheel. And a 4-stage Pokemon would be absolutely insane, but let me know in the comments if that's something y'all would want to see, because I will add it if y'all really want it. But anyways, Croissant, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be regular. That with wrong, nothing there. Now let's see how many times your Pokemon can evolve, and you are going to get the split evolution. That is absolutely amazing. That's one of the rarest things you can get. Now let's see what typing this split evolution Pokemon's going to be. Your first type is going to be the rock type. That is actually my second favorite type of all time, so that's awesome. And you're actually pure rock type because your second type was none. And the last step, before we see what your Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X factor, and none this time, but you already got the split evolution, so that's okay. Get ready to choose your class. The first stage of your Pokemon is Setamite, the RPG Pokemon. This Pokemon appears to be made out of a living stone material that's constantly moving on a microscopic level. But what's truly interesting is the large hole in the middle of its body. As when any of the elemental stones are placed in this hole, Setamite's body will immediately siphon energy from it, completely transforming its body and elemental properties in the process. When exposed to a firestone, it would evolve into Setamate. This molten magi produces so much heat that its own body is in a constant state of melting and reforming itself. And it uses this insane internal heat to launch waves of flames at the opponent, burning them to a crisp. When exposed to a leaf stone, it would evolve into Sedruid. This beastly rock monster is extremely quick and dexterous, using all 4 of its limbs to move around the battlefield with ease. And when it gets close enough to strike, it uses its large claws and vine whip tail to decimate the foe. When exposed to a water stone, it would evolve into Setamunk. This Pokemon's attacks flow like water, as it produces a near constant stream of strikes that no opponent can hope to avoid all of. Now, what's really cool about this Pokemon is that in our free fan-made project, Pokemon Void, it'll actually be an early game gift Pokemon. In fact, we've already put them into the game. Here's what they look like. In Pokemon Void, Setamite will basically be our version of the Monkey Trio from Pokemon Black and White. As just like the Monkey Trio, Setamite will be offered to the player early in the game and essentially give them a second starter choice, because they get to choose between a fire, grass, or water type Pokemon to add to their team. And of course, this Pokemon's evolutions are based off RPG classes, so if we ever want to go and give it new evolutions, there's still a ton of different classes that we can draw inspiration from. So let me know in the comments if y'all would want to see that. And in terms of stats, all 3 of the evolutions have the same base stat total, but with different focuses. As Setamage is focused on its special attack, Sedruid is focused on its speed, and Setamunk is focused on its physical attack. And for the shinies, I swapped all of their color palettes around because I thought that'd be a cool theme. But now let's get into the second Pokemon. And this one will be for Teddy Berry. I'm glad you liked Measleaf in the last episode, but hopefully you like your own Pokemon even more. So alright, Teddy, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be a Paradox Pokemon. Sick. And it means that now we have to spin this wheel to see what generation of Pokemon will be making a Paradox form for, and it's Gen 2. That's actually one of my favorite generations of all time, so that's exciting. And of course, now we'll spin this wheel that has every single Gen 2 Pokemon on it, and we got Marie. That's a pretty funny Pokemon to be getting a Paradox form, but I'm definitely not complaining because I do really like Marie. And now let's spin this wheel to see if we're making a past or future Paradox form of Marie, and it is a future Paradox form. I guess either way it would have been difficult, but a futuristic Mareep is definitely crazy. Now, every Paradox form keeps at least one of its original types, so we know that it'll stay electric type, but let's still spin this wheel to get a secondary type, and it is the Dragon type. A futuristic Mareep was already crazy enough, but a Dragon type one, that's absolutely insane. 1 billion years into the future, the creatures that were once Pokemon have now been turned into machine replicas of their once natural form. And having these machine Pokemon running around at all times requires a huge amount of power. Power which is supplied by ginormous generators, which humanity has placed far away in the ocean. As the power they produce is so great, they could potentially destroy anything near it. However, despite being located in such remote locations, these generators are so important that humanity designed a special machine built purely for the protection of these crucial devices. Your Pokemon is Iron Wool, the power protection Pokemon. These Pokemon have a special connection to the generators, as they're the only future Paradox forms that are able to tap directly into their insane power source. And because of this, not only is Iron Wool able to produce attacks so strong that they can instantly neutralize any threat that attacks the generators, but they're also capable of healing their fellow Paradox Pokemon, as they can use their vast power source to instantly reboot any machine that's run out of charge. In terms of stats, it should be no surprise that Iron Wool has very good special attack and special defense. However, its physical stats as well as its speed are pretty mid. And for the shiny, I actually have two options. This first shiny is the one that all the future Paradox forms have, where it's just like a metallic version. However, I also made this shiny, which is a callback to the original Marie, and I much prefer this one because I think it's less boring, but let me know in the comments which one y'all prefer because I'm pretty curious to see. But now let's get into the third Pokemon. And this one will be for My Name Is Yours, who asks when my fan-made game is coming out. There's definitely not an exact release date yet, but if you want to keep up with the progress, I have been posting shorts about it, so keep an eye out for those. But anyways, my name, let's start by getting the power level of your Pokemon, and you are going to be a pseudo-legendary. That is awesome. Now, every pseudo-legendary has been a 3-stage evolution line, but we do still spin this wheel where you have a very small chance to get less than 3 or a split evolution, but you got 2, so you're just the classic 3-stage pseudo. Now, let's see what typing this pseudo-legendary is going to be. Your first type is going to be the Dark type. That is easily one of the coolest types in Pokemon, so that's sick. And Dark Ghost type. That is a really, really cool combination, so this Pokemon is already awesome. And the last step, before we see what your Pokemon looks like, let's see if it has an X Factor, and none this time. We should all be extremely thankful that this Pokemon isn't real. The first stage of your Pokemon is Apparition, the Howling Pokemon. These Pokemon are completely nocturnal and can often be found sleeping upside down on large tree branches during the day. However, once night falls, they burst alive, spreading out into large hunting parties that rip their way through the jungle, all the while releasing ear-piercing howls which signal their approach. At level 16, it would evolve into Apechi. These Pokemon are known as the pack leaders of their pre-evolution, as they use their haunting howls to give commands to groups of apparitions, instructing them on how and when to attack foes. And this makes this species absolutely terrifying, as not only are they extremely ruthless and feral when attacked, but they also have a level of organization and strategy that is near unheard of in the Pokemon world. At level 36, it would evolve into Ghoulrilla. These Pokemon are some of the strongest and most ruthless Pokemon to ever exist. As it said, there can only ever be one Ghoulrilla serving as the alpha of a pack at any one time. Meaning once an Apechi evolves, it will immediately engage the current pack alpha Ghoulrilla in a battle to the end, with the victor becoming the true leader of the pack and the loser ceasing to exist. In terms of stats, Ghoulrilla is actually a terrifying mixed attacker, as it's got pretty solid physical and special attack while also having decent speed. But you can't have everything, so of course its defensive stats are pretty low. And for the shiny, I went with this light blue color as a reference to the moon because this Pokemon is nocturnal. But that's gonna do it for today's episode, y'all. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe before you go. And if you want to watch more episodes of the custom Pokemon series, there's a bunch in this playlist. Sorry this episode took a little bit longer to come out. It was actually my birthday this weekend, so I had a lot going on. And if you want to get me a birthday gift, just hit that like button. It's more than enough. But anyways, I'm gonna get right back to making some awesome custom Pokemon for you, so I'll see you in the next episode. But until then, peace.